Hello, hello, hello. It's Akia Garnett with the Akia Garnett Show, and welcome to this week's edition of Tuesday Branding with Akia Garnett. I'm so excited that you are on with me today and this week because we're going to have a great time. I am super excited as well because I've got this amazing ex-athlete. I don't think you can ever really be an ex-athlete, but I'm going to say that he's an ex-athlete and he has done some great things in his career. He's, first of all, played for... Actually, I'm going to let him tell you about the teams that he's played for because I'm just too excited to even get it out. So everybody who knows me knows that I love football, and I'm just squealing right now because football to me is just, I think it's more nostalgic for me than anything. I remember just sitting alongside uncles when I was a kid and even my stepfather and just enjoying football. I mean, at that time and even still today, I loved and still love the Dallas Cowboys. So I don't know if my guest is going to be too happy to hear about that. But, you know, I'm willing to take it. I can take the heat, you know, but that's who I like, okay? He didn't play for the Dallas Cowboys, but we're going to give him a pass today. Okay, so just without further ado, I'm going to tell you that I'm spending time with none other than Juanito Long, and he is a pro football player and has done some other great things in his career. We're going to be talking about that and so much more today on the Akia Garnett Show. Hey there, Juan. How are you?
I'm doing well, Akia. Today.
Yeah, welcome to the show. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you that I like the Dallas Cowboys.
I see you held that out from me.
I left that out, Juan. I'm sorry. I just thought you'd hold it against me, and I thought you'd hold it against me because you said you grew up liking the Steelers.
Yes, I grew up being a Steelers fan, so
yeah.
I have to bump in a little bit today.
Yeah, I didn't think we would gel well, you know. So why don't you tell us all about your career, starting out with San Diego?
Well, I came out of college with the Mississippi State University, and I left there and went to the San Diego Chargers. I was there 94, 95, off and on, and then I went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, played for them a little bit with Tony Dungy, his first year in the NFL, and I left San Diego the following year. I went to the New York Giants, played for them, and after then I went around. I did some arena football all over, the XFL, over in Barcelona, Spain. So kind of, you know, half ball would travel. Football something I grew up with, I loved, and tried to ride the wave as long as I could.
Yeah, and Juan, but you grew up though in Mississippi, but you were born in Tennessee, right?
Yes, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, which is about 2 hours from a town called Tupelo, Mississippi, which is, I guess, famous for knowing that's where Elvis Presley was born. So for the Presley fans, that's for his hometown. So I grew up there in Tupelo, Mississippi. And
you know, like many professional athletes, you are multi-athletic. So football was what you chose professionally, but you've also got a passion and had a passion for baseball since you were a youth as well, right?
Yes, yeah. I played baseball probably from the time I was 9 years old up until high school. Actually, that was my favorite sport. You know, a little known fact. You know, my plan was to be a major league baseball player. And so that was my plan, that was my passion. And I tell you, it's something that I always grew up with, always loved, and you know, kept playing as long as I could.
How did you make that decision to not pursue baseball and to pursue football?
Well, it was kind of a joint decision between my dad and I. My plan was during my senior year of high school, I was given recruited by D1 School for Football, but it was during the fall season. And I told my dad that I was going to skip football and sign a baseball scholarship somewhere. And he was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yes, sir. That's my plan."
Wow.
But little did I know that football was a full ride, full scholarship, whereas baseball was only a partial scholarship. So he was like, "Are you aware of the fact that baseball is not a full ride?" And I said, "Well, I didn't know that, but that's okay. You know, you can go ahead and pay the rest of it." He kind of laughed, like, "Oh, really? You think so?" And you know, at the time, he didn't have the money. money really to pay for it, but I was thinking that way. I was thinking, you know what, I'm playing baseball. That's it. And so then he saw that I was being kind of stubborn.
Yeah.
So, okay, I tell you what, you go ahead and play baseball. Like, you go ahead and wait and don't sign, and you go ahead and pursue baseball. But if you get hurt an arm, or break a leg in football season this year, and no school recruiting baseball, just know that you're not going to play football anywhere. You have to get a job somewhere in a factory. I didn't want to have that sauce. Like, hold on, factory job? I'll pass. Let me sign football.
You know, I mean, he really did paint that picture for you, Black. You know,
he did. You know, picture. I saw myself working a factory job. There's nothing wrong with that, but you know, it was like, you know, hey.
But that's not how you you didn't, that wasn't a part of the plan when you were,
right.
You know, you didn't.
Part of the plan, I didn't have college money to go to college, no other than use the sports for it, so.
What factory was he talking about anyway? Did you ever ask him?
No, I never did. I never did.
You should have said which factory, you know.
It didn't matter. I tried to avoid it as long as I could.
You know, but that's serious. Did you ever, you know, I guess, and there are so many things I want to talk to you about today, but regarding making that decision to pursue football and instead of baseball, did you ever regret it, or did you just deal with it? Did you just accept it and you moved on?
You know, when I signed at Mississippi State to play football there, actually, part of the recruiting process, part of their pitch to me was the fact that I could play baseball there.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, they had one of the best programs in the country for baseball. So for me, it was always like a win-win going on, and that kind of helped me decide to go there. So my plan was to go there and to play football and baseball. But when I went there, though, unfortunately, my first 2 years there, I was a pitcher, and unfortunately, each spring of the upcoming baseball season, I hurt my pitching elbow. Mm-hmm. I couldn't pitch. So for 2 years straight, I planned on playing, but kept getting injured. And after the second year, I decided, just go ahead and pursue football only. So that part of it, I kind of go what could have been, because when I was there were guys who I played against in high school who knew me, who had faced me pitching, and I met guys there, and those guys went on to become baseball players, first round draft pick. They're like, Juan, trust me, you're better than him. You're just as good as he is. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if?
Yeah.
So that part did, kind of make me go into what if.
Yeah.
But, playing football, though, I was happy with that as well.
Well, that's good that you found. I'm hoping you found peace with that.
I did definitely found peace.
Awesome, and I'm sure that being you went in as a free agent, right? After undergrad, right? But yes, I'm sure that going into the and so going into San Diego, that felt good, right?
It did. I said, to be wanted by them, going to a beautiful city, great people there at the time they were there, to be able to continue my football dreams, definitely was an honor and a privilege to be a part of that team.
Yeah. And then, so you finished up, though, at Mississippi State, and you got your degree in poultry science, right?
Yes, in poultry science.
What's that all about? help me understand. Help me understand poultry science, because I'm an adjunct professor. I've never taught poultry science though. So tell me about that.
Well, I'm sure there are very few who have been involved in the poultry science program. When I went to MSU, my first plan, my first major was engineering. I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, and so I went there, signed up for the aerospace program for a few years. But as the years went by, I had to take more physics and more calculus, and it became tougher and tougher. And plus, it was more time consuming. And those programs, because a lot of times I would have labs doing football practice, and the classes required me to be there when football came as well. So that kind of butted ahead, and then I didn't have a lot of time to practice and study at the same time. So kind of steered me towards poultry science, and I was like, poultry science, chicken farming?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like, what? But I told him, I'm not a farmer, not at all. That's not my goal. But he said, what, chickens. You can work for the government, work for the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, be more of a behind the scenes type of person and do things like that,
Yeah.
as opposed to actually being a grower, for different companies. And so that kind of made me go, okay, you know what? I'll think about that, and that kind of piqued my curiosity. So I decided to go ahead and follow it from that.
Well, did your dad have anything to say about that?
He was shocked, He was like, "Oh, you left engineer to be a chicken farmer?" So kind of same thing. And I explained to him the same thing what it was all about. So once I explained to him what it was, he was like, "Okay, no problem. Go ahead and go for it."
Now, when you were deciding on, or when you went in with the position that you went in, you were linebacker, right?
Yeah.
How and when did you decide that was the position that you wanted to play? Because I know that's a highly coveted position.
Well, it's something that I did. Actually, I played in high school. I just kind of, I guess because of my body type, my size, I played, I always played fullback on offense or tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And then defense, I blocker. And, I love, I guess, the contact part of the sport, being on defense and tackling. I always said, I'd rather hit than be hit.
Yep.
So I do being, okay, I want to play defense or offense. And then I said, I have success as I was younger. And so something kind of came, I guess, that's for me then.
Yeah, and you had a great run in San Diego, and then your time as well with the Buccaneers, and then with the Giants as well. And then, as you mentioned earlier, some of the work that you went on to do after that. But then you had to come on out of the NFL. And how well do you know your record? Are you able to tell us a little bit about your record before we move on? Because I want to talk about the transition of your time out of being a pro athlete and what that process was like for you.
I'll be honest, that first year of being out of football was very tough. And I think it is for a lot of athletes because of the fact you figure from the time that you're a 10-year-old kid, until you're 20 or 30 years old, whatever it may be, that you're released from a football team, you've only kind of really known one thing, and that's playing football. Mm-hmm. So to play a case from a 10-year-old kid up to I was a 30-something-year-old man, and then to be told basically you're not able to play no more, it's kind of like you're in shock for a while. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because now it's like, okay, what's next? Because I had a degree from college, truth be told, I wasn't ready to get football up, A, and then B, I felt that, I should be playing, so I didn't want to just give up my hopes and dreams. I kept saying, what if, so I would hang around.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for me at first, to make that transition because I would say probably it took a good year before I finally came to grips with the fact that, okay, this career is done. It's time to move on to the next phase of my life.
Yeah, and that period over that year, you were still conditioning and keeping yourself fit and doing all of the things that you would do when you're training, right?
Exactly. Like I said, during that first year, because I always hoped and dreamed that I would get a phone call at any point in time. Mm-hmm. So I was, every day going to work out, still training on my own, still conditioning, and still, trying to be involved in the sport as much as I could.
Yeah.
From a physical standpoint, being mentally ready, knowing that, not knowing, but hoping that my phone would ring any day.
Yeah.
So I did do everything as if I was still playing during that first year.
Well, Juan, did you have any person in your ear, any wise person in your ear that was trying to, I guess, temper you and to help you move on? Was there someone that was trying to help you cope with that whole process, the transitional process?
Well, I had friends that were still playing, and that they would help me out. I would talk to them almost every day, and the ones who were still playing, they would have me positive, saying, just stay ready. You never know. Also, too, though, I had my family, my mom and dad, because my mom, she kept saying, just go ahead and make the transition. And I kept fighting. I'm like, no, I can get one more year at least.
Yeah.
But she kept, she was definitely as a sounding board for me to let my griefs and complaints out with. Also, too, though, she wanted me also to be wise up and say, you know what, at some point in time, whether it be now or 3 years later, you have to make a transition. Mm-hmm. So start preparing yourself. So she did help me to open my eyes up to the fact that, hey, look, at some point in time, you got
Yeah.
So she was a huge influence in my life from that standpoint.
Wow. That I'm sure that was very painful for you. I thank you for sharing that, because I can't imagine just sitting and waiting and hoping, and then you have all the friends that are still playing, so you are happy for them, but at the same time you're like, what about me?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that unless you've been there before, it's hard to explain to someone who has been involved. And like you said, all your friends are doing it, you're proud of their successes, but then for yourself, like you said, you kind of sit there and go, what about me?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? No Lord, no why me?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the lifestyle that comes along with it. I mean, there's just a lot of perks associated with being a professional athlete in this country. And of course, in other countries where other sports, like for instance in Europe where soccer is everything, there are perks that come along with that. So you're transitioning out of, the limelight, if you will, and there must be some fear as well, like, well, what else am I going to do that I really like, and how is my life going to change, not just from a lifestyle perspective, but in every other way, in terms of compensation and so many. I mean, I could imagine that there were just 1,000 things going through your head.
Definitely, and it's funny you say that. I mean, like you said, you go from an arena to where if you're in college, over 100,000 fans cheering for you and your team. NFL teams have 7,000 fans there. So to go from that arena, like you said, to where everyone is admiring you and loving you and your team, to coming to what next in life, to go to someone who doesn't know who you are.
Yeah.
There's a huge shock.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are certain perks you have of being a professional athlete, and to go from having those perks to not having those perks, having the fans cheering you on, to now you're cheering yourself on.
Yeah.
There's a certain time period in your life you have to make a huge adjustment.
Yes, and it sounds like your family, though, prepared you for finding your own inner cheerleader, I guess, because...
No, they really did. They really did. That's the thing about, I laugh about when I was wanting to be a baseball player in high school instead of playing football, because my dad's thing was grades first. So he didn't care what I played. His thing was, what your grades like. So because he always said that, sports are just a privilege. It shouldn't be the norm.
Yeah.
So they were a huge part of my life as far as being able to accept that fact later on in life.
Yeah, I mean, and then now that you're retired and you're sitting back, and of course the industry and the league, the NFL, it just continues to change over and over, and every day it's just something new, wild, and amazing. Sometimes I feel like I'm looking at the WWF or WWE or whatever. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm just waiting for Jones to come out in a costume, and I'm waiting for something wild and crazy, because I just feel like it's a big show sometimes. And with all of this drama around big issues in NFL right now, one of the major things that came out last year regarding sexuality and various players just wanting to come out and just say, hey, this is who I am, this is the life I live, take it or leave it, you've got that, and that creates a lot of new dialogue and new things that need to be put in place so that it's a safe environment for everybody. So you have that. And then you have what has always been there, but just being really blown out of proportion in terms of the way some people feel the NFL is responding to domestic violence. And it is so polar opposite. It's very polarizing. There are some of us who feel that, Ray Rice received what he should have received. And then there are some who believe that the NFL really overreacted. They knew the whole time. And, they did what the public, wanted them to do versus what they knew to be the right thing to do. So what has been your take and your thoughts on all of these things that tend to pull away from the whole concept of the sport?
I think you brought up two great, hot button issues. One being Michael Sam coming out as being the first, openly gay player to play professional football. Also, too, there were always rumors of different people being gay. So I think the fact that as NFL players, we always knew that someone was gay, but no one ever came out and said it. And said it. With Michael Sam, by him being the first one to say, "Hey, I am gay," there are no doubts about it. It does create that dialogue of, okay, now what? Because once again, there was always speculation, but there was never really confirmation. And with him being gay, it created that dialogue now of, how do you treat players, the locker room atmosphere, because NFL locker room is its own world.
Yeah,
and, be the one. I see Kevin explain. Just things are said, people know.
Yeah, it's wild, right? It's wild.
Exactly. Yeah, it's wild. So you have that, and but I think with him coming out, though, obviously it opened the avenue up for us to have a conversation as athletes and also as society, which has been, I think, a positive thing. I think he's been well received so far. There hasn't been any issues. People thought that might occur. He's kind of been, for him, what's been reported at least, has been a positive thing for him, but being there. And then you have Ray Rice, his situation there, obviously, and other guys in the NFL that's kind of put a huge black eye on the NFL. I was telling someone, I think earlier this week, we were discussing Ray Rice in the NFL and how now a lot of people are viewing the NFL as being a thug league and guys out of control. And I told him, first of all, these guys' actions, I don't condone at all. They're wrong. No if and a buts about it. No, they are wrong 100%. But unfortunately, those few guys are representing the majority. And you figure you have 4 or 5 guys out of nearly 2,000 players that now that's caused the spotlight to be shown on them, focused on them now, and they are taken away from all the positive things that are being done daily. There are guys that have like Derrick Brooks, just reached the Hall of Famer, who has his own school.
Yeah.
Who has his own foundation, who takes kids, from the inner city, takes them on trips every year. That's not being publicized. What you hear now, unfortunately, is the wrongs that these guys are doing, and that unfortunately, is a bad thing. But I do think though that because of these things that's being done now, there will be some positive come out of that. Now I think the league now is starting to become more strict now with people breaking the laws of what's going on, and also they're able to hopefully get a solution because of what these people have done.
Wow, that is really good input from you on how you feel regarding the challenges that a few NFL players have had personally in their own personal lives, and how it has spilled over really onto the league, giving it a black eye. And I know, as I said earlier, that these things have been going on for as long as the NFL has been around. There's been heightened tempers. There's been real stressful situations and people who are putting everything on the line in the game and they lose, and not that is not an excuse whatsoever, but there's a tremendous amount of pressure in that industry, I understand. And so you've had those heightened tempers, and people have pacified them over the years. And it is just at a point now where somebody has to do something, because it can't go on. It can't go on where you've got video footage of, someone being battered, and to a point that, she's just non-coherent and being dragged out, and then what do? You fire one person, but it's still, like you said, 2,000 other players. So who else is doing this? And is it the NFL's job to do this or not? Whose job is it? Who really is responsible for managing the tempers of their employees? Is it the NFL's responsibility, or is it the players' responsibility? Is the parents who brought them up? Who's responsible? I think it's a combination of all of those things, but I think real discussion needs to take place for everybody's sake. Because, you've got little kids whose hearts are broken, as a result of just seeing a man do that to a woman. And domestic abuse, whether a woman is hitting a man or a man is hitting a woman or verbally attacking one another, emotionally attacking one another, it's all wrong. When you see it happen physically, it just looks so much worse because of the impacts that are created. And so I thank you for chiming in on that. And I want to ask you how you are, I guess, raising your children, because I know you have children, and I think I saw some things with them in sports as well. So how are you raising them to respect the sport, but also to respect themselves and to make sure that they are well grounded with their emotional health and so forth, so that that never occurs within their own lives?
Well, I do have kids. I have a daughter who's in college, a freshman volleyball player, actually, Mississippi State University.
Mm-hmm.
I have another daughter, 13 years old, that plays sports as well. And I have twin boys that play football. And it's something for me. It's been a gateway for us all to have a conversation. From the boys' standpoint, they play football. They know these guys. It's on TV, because they love the NFL. It's something that we've been able to sit down and discuss. That they have asked, why, Daddy, and why did he do that?
Mm-hmm.
Is it true? Those things there, and it's something that really, prior to this happening, I never probably would have discussed or thought about discussing, but because it did happen, it created a conversation buzz about how to treat women, how to respect yourself, and also too, be able to pay the consequences of things that your actions, and how that you are responsible for your own actions. And then for my daughters, it's been a case of me letting them know, obviously no person should touch you ever, especially not a man. So for me, it's been something that obviously I've had to be able to discuss a lot sooner than I thought I would have to discuss because
mm-hmm.
of what has happened.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, transitioning into a lighter topic, how are you dedicating any of your time to the community when it comes to sharing your talents? Because I believe that you're coaching
yes,
football.
I help out with a couple of football teams. I'm
mm-hmm.
here in Tampa, and we have a team called the Citrus Park Bills football organization. They range from ages 8-year-old to 14-year-old young men, and I coach the 13 and 14-year-old guys. I'm the head coach there. I'm also the athletic director of the entire organization. So I've been able to just get back with my football experience and my knowledge, things like that, to these guys. So that's one thing. Then also too, I help coach high school football as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my way of giving back. When I grew up, I didn't know any quote unquote no pro ball players. So for me, now that it's a way to give back to, like I said, to share my knowledge and share my experiences with these guys every single day.
Yeah. And when you played for the 3 NFL teams, because I know you played in Europe also, and then some other leagues in the States, but when you played for the various NFL teams, which team and what experience, I guess, impacted you most positively?
I had great times at every city, but I would say for me, probably the most powerful impacted time I had was actually here in Tampa, being under the tutelage of Tony Dungy and his staff.
Mm-hmm.
I say, all the time I speak about it, being with him, he's probably the best coach ever that I've seen, I've dealt with, especially on a professional level. He didn't fuss, he didn't yell, he didn't cuss.
Yeah.
He treated you as a man.
Mm-hmm.
You were a team. He didn't believe in rookie hazing. Most teams have the rookie hazing.
Yeah.
He didn't believe in that. He felt that we were all here for the same mission, the same goal, so we all should be treated as equals.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he's someone who didn't have to do a lot of fussing and yelling to get positive results. So by far, I would say one of my all-time favorites would be Tony Dungy in my time here in Tampa.
Yeah, I can't echo that enough in terms of the positive impact that Tony Dungy has had, period, on society. He gets so much respect because of the way that he has led his career and led others in professional sports. And so thank you for mentioning him, because I'm certainly a fan of his as well. Now, do you get involved in fantasy football?
I do not. I do not. As someone who plays sports, and actually, even though you're a Cowboy fan, I was a Steelers fan growing up.
Well,
when my days as a child, we didn't root for the Cowboy because that was our heated rival. But nowadays, you have Steeler fans that might draft a Tony Romo, your rival quarterback.
He's awesome. So I can think that Juan, I think every team would want Tony Romo. Don't you think? Wouldn't you want him as your quarterback?
Well, he had his day as a true Steelers fan. I want to say no, but
this is.
But he's a good guy. Though, does a lot of good things for Dallas. So.
Yes, he has done amazing things, and we're going to the show this year. We really are. You have any predictions?
What, Super Bowl? I think right now, Seattle is the team to beat. In all honesty, they still, they're the reigning champs, and so far this short season, they kind of shown the fact that, hey, we're still the team to beat still. So I think, as of right now, Seattle's still their favorite. Yeah,
and let me ask you, how much time do you spend per week thinking about football, watching football, talking about football?
Like literally, I would say every day. Cause obviously, I coach it now, so I coach it, every day. Literally, on weekends, after I coach it, I'm watching college football on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Watching NFL on Sundays. watching Monday Night Football. Watching Thursday Night Football. So it's still a part of my life. Whether I want to be there or not. I'm not playing it, but I'm still involved with it. More fashion.
Yeah, you in it. You in it to win it.
I'm in it.
Any parting words, Juan, for that young boy or girl who is just dreaming of being an NFL player? Because you got to do it. So many thousands and thousands of kids have a dream to play and they don't make it. Do you have any advice or parting words?
I would say, for that young man, that young woman who has a goal, aspiration, whether it be football or acting or singing or a doctor, whatever it may be, regardless of the sport or career choice, the main thing is the fact that you two have to invest in yourself and go 100% at it. I know playing football when I was young, I had people tell me that I couldn't do it. Family members, that said, oh, you can't make it. The odds are against you. Give up. So I know firsthand that people will try to deter you from your dreams. But if you're able to, you want to become that thing, you need to pursue it 100% and give true effort. If you want to be a singer, you can't just sit around here and not practice your craft. You have to practice. You have to, work on your vocal cords, work on your strength for singing. Sports, same thing. You have to hone your craft, wherever it may be, every single day. So the main thing is giving 100% effort and never giving up.
Wonderful. Wonderful. You've been listening to the Akia Garnett Show. I've been on with my guest for this week, Juanito Long. He is now the certified residential appraiser for Champions Real Estate firm, and that's out of Tampa, Florida, but he's also an ex-NFL pro football player. He played for the San Diego Chargers, he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he played for the New York Giants. And he spent time with me talking about his career in football and also his transition out of that into what he's doing now. If you want to hear more of a conversation with me and Juan, I want you to listen to Kick Fanny, Big Thinking with Akia Garnett on kickfanny.com. And Juan and I will be talking about how he does what he does in the appraisal world. Again, this is Akia Garnett signing off, the Akia Garnett Show. Thank you very much, Juan, for being my guest, and have a great day.
Thank you, Akia. I appreciate it so much.
The Akia Garnett Show, teaching strategies that you need.